time we're having to deal with it here in the United States. And that's not merely because of the two people who became ill caring for Ebola patients and were brought back to the U.S. by their organization. That's primarily because we are all connected. And inevitably there will be travelers, American citizens and others, who go from these three countries or from Lagos, if it doesn't get it under control, and are here with symptoms. Those symptoms might be Ebola or something else. So we're having to deal with Ebola in the U.S. in a way that we've never had to deal with it before.
You know, folks, again, as is the case so many times, because of breaking news, because of stories, one superseding the other, it knocks the one that came before it off the front pages and out of focus. And I think it's very important that we stay focused on Ebola. I mean, this is the first time all show today I've mentioned the word Ebola. And that's because of what's happening in Iraq, what's happening again in the Middle East. And of course, we had, you know, other guests on like Darryl Strawberry and his wife, etc. But it's very important that we stay focused on Ebola. I'm not here to create a panic. There is no panic. It turns out the gentleman at Mount Sinai Hospital, as you are well aware by now, did not have the Ebola virus. But as long as Ebola is a threat and is a problem and is an epidemic in parts of anywhere in the world, so happens it's Northern Africa, anywhere in the world, as long as that's the fact, okay, and we have planes and people going into those countries, coming out of those countries with people who may well be carriers. I mean, it's almost easy if they have it, God forbid, although then they'd have a chance of infecting people on the plane. But what's almost worse is if they're carriers and come into this country and develop it and infect other people along the way. Now, we keep hearing that even if that were to happen, it would not become an epidemic. It would not get out of hand here in the United States. We also have to worry about the southern border of this country, where doctors have told us, disease specialists have told us, that all kinds of diseases come in that way, especially with the children now and all that. But Ebola is certainly a concern and a threat as well. So I'm not trying to panic, because I'm not panicked, and I'm a devout hypochondriac. So if I'm not panicked, you know you're okay. However, I'm concerned. You should be concerned. We all should be concerned. Now, it's not like we could take these precautions that I could tell you or put up on a screen, because there's no cure, there's no vaccine. You know, you just have to be alert. I think the government needs to be proactive more so than us. The government needs to protect us. It's their job to protect us. And if it means limiting flights or canceling flights, that's the least of what should be done to make sure that this deadly virus that kills 60% of the people who get it with no known cure doesn't enter the country. All right, folks, that's my little spiel. And we'll be back, my little spiel here on the Steve Malzberg Show. We'll be back with Walter E. Williams and more of the show, but here's Dr. Chauncey Crandall to talk about patterns of cholesterol.
When I was a young doctor, we were just learning about cholesterol and how too much of it could lead to a heart attack. We learned that there were three types of cholesterol: LDL cholesterol, which was bad, HDL cholesterol, which was good, and triglycerides. Now we know that not all bad cholesterol is the same. We learned that bad LDL cholesterol is comprised of two different types. One type is called pattern A, and the other type is called pattern B. And it's very important for you to know the type that you have. Feel free to pause the video and get a pencil to make notes. Pattern A LDL cholesterol is fluffy and bounces off the wall of your coronary arteries without damaging them. Pattern B LDL cholesterol is small and pellet-like and embeds into the walls of your coronary arteries, causing damage. To learn what pattern you have, you must ask your doctor for a blood test that is known as an advanced lipid screening test. Most of the time, doctors will not order it, but this is an important state-of-the-art cardiology test, and research shows that this information is key to determining who is at the highest risk for a heart attack. If it does turn out that you have the deadly pattern B type of bad cholesterol, don't despair. I found that taking 500 to 2,500 milligrams of vitamin B3 or niacin can change a harmful pattern B LDL cholesterol to a pattern A cholesterol. In this Heart Health Minute, I told you about the importance of advanced lipid screening and learning about your cholesterol risk. But there are other very important tests you need to know about as well. Since most of you are already reading my book, The Simple Heart Cure, I want you to go to Chapter 10 and read about the other must-have tests you should ask your doctor about if you are over the age of 50.
Get your copy of Dr. Crandall's best-selling book, The Simple Heart Cure, for just $4.95 with this special offer. Go to www.simpleheartbook.com to get your copy today. That's simpleheartbook.com.